my historical fashion friends. Today we will be making a red surcote, which I'm already modeling here. I'm kind of sporting this red on red look, which I actually did find textually supported in various manuscript drawings, even though my husband was like, it's two different colors of red, but you know, red is a very easy color to dye with, so here we go, red on red. I also tried to do this that little loop-de-loop braid look. Didn't work amazingly because I've kind of got this modern layered hairstyle, but anyway, what I like about the surcote is that it's such a simple garment to make, but I feel like it really enhances the whole look overall and kind of adds some layers and texture, which I think always kind of looks better on film and camera. Although I do see a lot of various sources that show people just wearing plain curls. Right now I can pair it with my simple natural linen kirtle or this short sleeve kind of brick red colored one, which actually I called the ketchup dress. Let me know if you're interested in seeing a video of me kind of fixing this, because I tried to make it in basically two pieces with French seams to kind of cut corners, but the silhouette is not quite right. I'll show you in an upcoming video, so you'll be able to see that. I'm also looking forward to pairing it with my sort of teal colored wool cotehardie that I'm going to be making coming up, and I am super excited for that look. I think it's going to be kind of like Merida from Brave inspired. So be sure to subscribe and follow along for that video. Anyway, let's get started. First, I drew out my plan. I thought for a moment I might try to cut corners and just cut the dress and gores at once, but with the amount of fabric I had, I realized that I had to use the rectangles and squares method instead. I wrote out markings to my measurements and then drew for myself an idea of the final shape. I'm going to trim the neckline and armholes later by hanging it on my mannequin. I had two pieces of this fabric, and from the first one, I tore the fabric in a straight line to give me the two rectangles for the front and back. I saved the extra to add a little to the back chain later. This was much easier than cutting and trying to maintain a straight line without pulling a thread first. You can see I just snip at the top and then I rip the two pieces apart. I held it up to myself to check the width, and it looks good to me. My assistant is back to help out. I have some negotiations with him in order to be able to complete the work on my fabric. Now I'm using my second piece to cut the gores from. 4 smaller triangles make 2 large triangles. I rip the fabric again to make 2 rectangles from which I will cut these 4 triangles. I straighten out the fabric, then add some household objects as paperweights, and use 3 long posters as my ruler, as I don't have a ruler as long as I need here. Then I draw the line I will cut on. Yes, I am using a regular pen. I couldn't find my chalk pencil, so this will have to do. The line will be hidden anyway. Now I'm comparing the gores against the full body pieces to get an idea of where the bottom of the armhole will be. I saw that the gores were significantly longer than the rest of the body, so I added an extra rectangle of fabric to the back to make the train a little longer. And in the end, I'm really happy with the look that created. Now begins copious pinning. I'm pinning the 2 rectangles at the top of the shorter side for the shoulder seams, then pinning the straight grain edge of the gore 2 triangles, which will become the middle of the whole gore segment. Then the diagonal edge will be sewn to the straight grain of the body pieces, which will prevent it from stretching out. The last part of this first step of pinning was to pin the extra rectangle to the end of the back panel to add length. Now for the sewing. Please ignore my mess. I also realized I didn't have red thread for my machine, but the colors shouldn't be seen, so I used up a variety of colors I already had on my bobbins. Now, I made this surcoat out of linen instead of wool, and you'll probably notice if you watched a lot of my videos that I make most things out of linen instead of wool, even though wool was probably the most likely thing for most outer garments in the time, if we're looking at sort of England, Northern Europe kind of garments. But I live in Southern California, so if I want to be wearing these outside, or I mean even in the house, my apartment, it's just a lot more comfortable for me to have multiple layers of linen as opposed to multiple layers of wool. The other reason for that is that I am vegan and I don't buy wool firsthand. I do buy it secondhand because I also don't like if fabric is going to landfill that was made of animal sources, because it really seems like a complete waste to me. I try to buy almost all of my fabric. I mean, even my linen is mostly purchased secondhand, so I just think that's kind of a good way to enjoy my hobby without kind of contributing too much to the amount of waste that is already on the planet. Next, we have to iron the seams. Very important to make sure everything looks nice at the end. Then I unfortunately realized that I had sewn the body panels so that the ugly stain was on the outside, and had to rip open my seams and redo it with the stain on the inside. Even though I thought I had double checked that I was doing it properly, turns out I didn't. Now I put my 2 sewn body pieces on the mannequin and cut the neckline by eye. These ladies are kinda what I'm going for. I would love to credit this image, but I just saw it on Pinterest with like no original location. It just links to the image on a black background, and a reverse image search did not help me. So if you happen to know where this is from, you can totally write in the comments below, and I will edit this description to add the original source information. Then we have this image from the Speculum Historale, which I found from edithmiller.blogspot.com, but is from an original manuscript source. Then I tried it on to see how the neckline looked and the sides might come together. I cut the tip of the sewn together gores because I wanted the armholes to have a more oval shape like I could see in artwork, and this seemed to be the best way to do it. Now I'm pinning the gores to the 2 body pieces. I didn't have enough room for a table in my sewing place, and it's annoying to carry things down the long apartment hall and back again, so I'm just doing it this way, which isn't ideal, but will have to work for now. And now for a brief interlude of slow-mo kitten playing. It's MJ with the solo attack. Oh, it's a miss! Now Martha's coming in with the slab attack, but MJ wants another shot. And T2 leaping in with a surprise grab. Back to our normally scheduled programming. I will now cut the armholes. First, I cut off just a little, then tried it on. It didn't really look how I wanted, so I folded it over as a test to kind of see where I wanted to sit, and then I cut off a lot more. Now it's looking like the picture. Now I have to do a rolled hem for the armholes and the neck opening. After this, it was time to finish the long seams of the garment. I trimmed one side of the seam allowances so I could fold the other over it and then fell it down. Don't you hate it when you accidentally cut through both layers? I just used this easy whip stitch to fell down the side and gore seams. I'm not sure if this is exactly how they did it, but honestly sometimes I find instructions kind of hard to follow unless I'm like watching a video. But you know, this seems to go fairly quickly. I always feel like really hilarious walking from my storage unit sewing room to my apartment, because I'm like, someone's gonna be like, what's this chick doing? Did I get in a hot tub time machine? And I'm like, huh? This is my normal outfit. The kittens have monopolized my second bedroom. Hello. What do you mean? T2 loves to sit on my lap as much as possible. The rest try to climb on top of each other or attack me or use me as a scratching post most of the time.
T2.
Everyone is very excited.
A happy voice? No.
They love climbing my clothes.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Sleepy babies.
Here are the finished seams. Now I just have to do a rolled hem on the bottom and fell down the seam for the extra panel in the back. I tried to even out the bottom before starting the hem, but kittens were in my way and there's 4 of them, and then I forgot to hit record, so here's that step finished. Kittens still included. Trying to sew and keep an eye on the kittens. They make it a lot more difficult to work and they want to play all day, but they are so cute. Smokey is getting out of here. Too much drama for him. Sometimes you just have to take a snuggle break. And now, time for the reveal. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and like it. Follow me on Instagram at gabrielle.westwood and let me know if you have a surcoat or maybe yours is a little more fancy. I saw that there were some that are lined in, fur and stuff like that, but I kind of have more of an interest in the types of garments that middle to lower class people might wear. I'm honestly not incredibly interested in the clothing of the ultra rich. Just historically in general, to me, the lives of ordinary people are much more interesting and kind of where I find myself focusing on my research. But let me know whether you're kind of yeah, I want to read more about ordinary kind of people, or if you're just no, I only want to read about kings and queens. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time where I am going to do a video on the garment I originally made, which I thought when I hadn't read enough was a surcoat, but I think actually is some sort of either not actually anything or maybe just a really plain tabard. I don't know, maybe I didn't pronounce it right. I think I heard my husband say tabard earlier, but he has a British accent, so I don't know if it's pretentious of me to say it that way or normal. Opinions welcome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.